Well, hello. My name is Steve Ramirez. I was a sports writer for over 30 years, and I decided to start this video blog, just talking sports. And today I thought um, kind of a weekend wrap up. A lot of things have happened over the weekend. The Rams won. The Dodgers won 2 out of 3 from Kansas City. They had their 12-game winning streak snap today, but it's just really about winning series from here on out. They have I believe it's a 16-game lead over the Padres in the division. So the division, barring a major collapse and a hot streak by the Padres, the division is pretty much sewed up. Just got to take care of business the last 6-7 weeks of the season. They also lead. They have the best record in the National League, I think, by 5 games or 5.5 games, and they have the best record in baseball by, it's either 4.5 or 5 now. I haven't checked the latest standings. So in baseball land, for the Dodgers have really turned up the heat here to start the second half, and winning 9 in a row after the trade deadline, and winning 12 in, I think, yeah, they had won 12 in a row before losing today, which is expected. Baseball, that's going to happen. You know, the best team is going to win, or is going to lose at least 60 games. Worst team's going to lose 60 games. And it's kind of what you do in those other 40 that determine your season. And the Dodgers are still on pace to win well over 100 games. They set the franchise record last year with 106 wins and still finished second. That's not going to be the case this year. So they have a chance to reset their record from last year. I like the way they really, up until today, I think they scored 8 runs on Friday, 13 yesterday, and stuff like what happened today is gonna happen. They now move on to Milwaukee, 4-game series in Milwaukee before they come home to face the Miami Marlins. So things are looking pretty good. The only concern, I think, is the back of the bullpen, finding that ninth inning closer. Craig Kimbrell has not really proven he can be trusted, and that's a concern. But with Dustin May and Blake Trinan expected to come back within the week, and also they could get Clayton Kershaw back in the middle of September, and that's about the time they probably will get Walker Buehler back. And I think those are the keys for how they do in the playoffs in October, because if they can throw out a 3-man rotation of Buehler, Kershaw, and Tony Gonsolin, that's a pretty formidable staff, and with their lineup, it should be enough to win some games in October. But the back of the bullpen, is kind of a concern. What I would do, if depends on, I'm sure they're still going to use this month to try to get Craig Kimbrell right, but if they can't, I wouldn't mind moving for the playoffs. I wouldn't mind moving Julio in that closer role. He can pitch an 8th and 9th inning, and along with Blake Trinan in either the 7th or 8th, and get your starters to go 6 or even into the 7th inning. should be enough to close out most games. And with their lineup, even though like if you face a team like the Mets in October, where you're going up against some formidable pitching, they still should be able to produce enough runs to win a game as long as their pitching is holding down the Mets or any other team. So, but it was a good weekend for the Dodgers, winning two or three for Kansas City. Like I said, you basically just want to win the series from here on out, and you're going to be in pretty good shape to hold on to the division title, hold on to the best record in the National League, which is important to get that number 1 seed and be at home or have the home field advantage throughout the playoffs. And it's just as holding on to having the best record in baseball, if you get to the World Series, you want to have 4 of those games at Dodger Stadium. Moving on to football, the Rams once again didn't play their starters or key contributors. Anyone who was either going to be starting, who they perceive as being number 1 on the depth chart, or some of the number 2s didn't see any action, which was expected. I was a little bit surprised that Tutu Atwell, who has had a really good training camp, didn't see any action. But Coach McVay announced after the game that Tutu's position is solidified. They're expecting big things from him, so that's why he didn't play, and he's probably not going to play in the exhibition season. Obviously, the big story was Lance McCutcheon, who has no relationship to great Ram running back Lawrence McCutcheon. He really shined. I think he had 2 touchdown receptions, caught a 2-point conversion. He had the big wow play of the night with his long TD reception, out muscling a defender for the ball, and then breaking the tackle and going, 30, 40 yards for the touchdown. McVay didn't say today whether he has secured a spot on the roster, but it's hard to imagine that they wouldn't try to find a spot for him. Maybe not on the active roster, but on the 53-man roster, because you wouldn't want to expose him to the practice squad. So he was very impressive, and it'll depend on what he does these next 2 games. If he can continue to shine, obviously he's someone that they're probably going to keep on the 53, and they'll just work around it in other positions. And maybe he can play some special teams. That if you can play special teams, they'll keep you on as a receiver. And the guys who can only usually play one position, sometimes, for the guys who are fighting for roster spots, if you can only play one position, then chances are you're not going to make the 53. But it just depends on the wow guys it'd be hard to cut those guys off to 53. I was also impressed with running back AJ Rose. I guess he was on Minnesota's practice squad last year. He looked very impressive. Not sure he could he would probably be a 4th running back, obviously behind Cam Akers and Henderson, who are the either one. Well, they're basically the number 1 and number 2, even though they like to interchange them, or the plan is to interchange them. And so I can't see them carrying more than 3 running backs, and the rookie running back, Williams, they drafted out of Notre Dame. McVay said he probably is not going to play in the exhibition season, so that's probably going to be someone who's going to make the roster, the 53-man roster, as the 3rd running back, which puts Jake Funk in kind of a bind. Maybe he can make the team as on special teams. He's a very good special teams player. So we'll just have to wait and see by the end of the exhibition season what cuts they make. But those were the guys who shined. I like Bryce Perkins, who's the number 3 quarterback, played the entire game. He was once again, very impressive with his legs. He's able to escape tackles and extend plays. I'm just still not sold on him as a pocket passer. That's something he's going to have to work on, but I still think they love his athleticism, and they will continue to nothing is certain, but I can't see them exposing him to the practice squad. So probably will make the 53-man roster just like last year and not be active most Sundays during the season. So, but it was nice to see the Rams win. These games don't count. They're not playing their starters, but you still want to see the team win, and they did win. They did hold off the Chargers. Played well in the second half. And I thought Logan Bruss, who was the top draft pick out of Wisconsin, they said at the time that he has a good chance to start, and I thought he played well. He got bulldozed on one play, but that's going to happen as guys learn the league, and they were going up against the number 2 guys on the Chargers depth chart, so stuff like that is going to happen. So I thought overall he played well, and looking forward to this Friday's game when they host the Texans at SoFi Stadium. Wanted to just make one comment on the big news in baseball on Friday. Fernando Tatis being suspended for 80 games and basically suspended for the rest of the season. He will miss the last 48 games this year. Won't be eligible for the playoffs, and he'll miss, I think, 42 games to start the 2023 season, coming back sometime in May. Disappointing to see something like that because he was such a wow player until he got hurt last year, and then had the motorcycle accident in the off season, which he was trying to get back from, and maybe he felt he had to use a banned substance to help with his rehabilitation. I hope that he wasn't lax on knowing he had been taking it, and I hope he hadn't been taking it while he was playing. I haven't heard that, but it's just a very very disappointing. The Padres still should be in the run. I think they'll still get the 3rd wild card. They have too good of a lineup, and their pitching which might be suspect in the playoffs, but I think it's enough to get to the postseason. So those are my thoughts on the sports world over the weekend, concentrating more on the local teams, and we'll see what happens this week. The Dodgers are in Milwaukee starting tonight, and then they come home from Miami, and then I think they host Milwaukee 3 games at Dodger Stadium the following week. So those are my thoughts, and until next time, have a good evening.